When taking a cruise, one of the toughest choices can be which cruise cabin to pick, and is it worth the extra money for balcony rooms or, say, suites? Today we're going to break down the cruise cabin options and help you decide which is best for you and your family. The first thing you have to do when considering a cruise cabin is think about the location. When considering where you want to be on the ship, there's a couple factors that you need to take into consideration. First, and probably the most important, is do you tend to get motion sick? If so, the best place to be is midship. If you're prone to seasickness, the midship cabins are probably the best option for you. They typically move less than the front or rear cabins and can be more appealing to those who easily do get motion sick. I would also recommend getting a cabin lower on the ship, which will help reduce the movement even more. Now, this does restrict your ability to get a balcony room or suite by going lower on the ship, so you're going to have to decide which is more important to you. Also, I would recommend getting an ocean view room. Having that horizon to stare at does help if you're feeling woozy. What is the best location on a cruise ship? Well, as we mentioned with motion sickness, the middle of the ship is the best. It's also best if you're wanting to be centrally located. The front or rear can be best if you want to be closer to, say, buffet, food areas, or activities that are commonly located in the front or rear of a ship. Also, suites are typically located in the front or rear as well. Take a look at the deck plan and find out what is located in the area that you're wanting to stay in. Also, keep in mind, if there are noisy areas above you, consider putting some cabins between you and those areas. Look at the deck plan and find the late night venues, especially those that have music. You should avoid these areas or get lower on the ship. The bass of the music can really push through and become annoying if you're trying to sleep. If you're going to be one of those people in these venues, staying up late, listening to the music, then I would say you probably don't have to worry a whole lot about this. Also, if you stay on a lower area, you tend to get more engine noise, especially when you're docking into ports. Keep this in mind when choosing a lower level. Pricing will also vary in each category depending on the cabin location on the ship. The more preferred locations will be more expensive than others. So, for instance, midship cabins can be pricier than the same cabin located towards the front or rear. Well, now that we've settled on a location, what is the best cruise cabin to pick? Well, this has several factors to consider, so let's break them down. And remember, this is a generalization of cruise ship cabins. Not all cruise ships will have these exact categories, but most of them do. When considering if you should choose an interior room, keep these things in mind. If you're traveling on a ship that has a lot of activities that you are interested in, and you don't plan on being in the room much, then an interior room may be a good choice. Another thing to consider for an interior room is, does your cruise have a port-intensive itinerary? This means, are you waking up in a new area every day and plan on getting off the ship? If so, then you probably won't spend that much time in your cabin. If you really want a drink package, but don't want to spend the extra money, then getting an interior cabin could save enough to get that drink package and not cost you a whole lot of extra money. This can also be applied if you would rather spend your money on, say, shore excursions or other things that the ship has to offer like specialty dining, rather than splurging for a larger cabin. Some ships do have interior rooms with a virtual window, porthole, or balcony, depending on your cruise line, of course. This is a screen designed as a window that gives the appearance as if you are looking outside. The view comes from a camera located on the outside upper deck. This can help people feel less claustrophobic and give that ocean view feel, but from an interior room. These rooms are limited and not on all ships, so if you're interested in these, you have to specifically look for them and see if they're available on your cruise ship. Also, some ships have spacious interior rooms that are fairly large and help take away that closet feel. These are also limited, so if it's something you're interested in, make sure you look it up and see if your ship has it. Let's talk about ocean view rooms. When looking for an ocean view room, it's important to understand some of the terminology used. You will typically see wording like not obstructed, partially obstructed, or totally obstructed. Partially or totally obstructed means that you have a window, but something is partially or totally blocking the view. This could be a portion of the ship or, say, a lifeboat. If you don't mind something blocking part of your view, then getting one of these rooms could save you some money. They typically cost a little less than an unobstructed view room. Just keep the wording in mind if you're looking at an ocean view room and wondering why one is so much cheaper than the others. Ocean view rooms are also great if you're wanting to see outside, but you don't have that extra money for a balcony. They can also be a little larger than interior rooms, making them more desirable if you have a small family. Some ships have different layouts also. For example, ocean view rooms and above on Disney ships have split bathrooms. This means the toilet area is separate from the shower area. This can be great if you have a family trying to get ready for dinner or getting up and getting ready in the morning. Let's talk about the balcony rooms now. Some people think a balcony is only worth it for places like Alaska or Europe when you're sailing a little closer to land and can see some scenery. However, we have experienced a balcony in a lot of different locations and love the private, relaxing feel that you get. You can sit on the balcony and just relax, enjoying the ocean breeze and view. You can have your room service delivered and sit on your balcony while enjoying your meal or morning coffee. One of my favorite things to do is sit on the balcony enjoying a nice cold beer or a glass of scotch while my wife and daughter are getting ready for dinner. Some balcony rooms are larger than ocean view rooms and interior rooms, giving them even more comfort to your stay. To help add even more to that larger feeling, the balcony room has a floor-to-ceiling window, making the room feel even larger than it really is. If you're wanting to experience a balcony but struggle with the money, there are obstructed balconies. Now, these are not in the most ideal locations and can be partially obstructed by a portion of the ship, lifeboat, or some other item, but they do price cheaper than a non-obstructed option. This might allow you to experience a balcony room at a cheaper price with a little sacrifice of the view. One of the concerns that we hear often is the worry of having younger children when staying in a balcony room. Now, of course, this is always a concern, but I can alleviate some of the fears that we hear for you. The balcony has a high rail that would be difficult for a child to get over. It's tall enough that for the average small child leaning on it, they just can't fall over. The other fear is that a child can open a door and go onto the balcony when the parent or guardian is in the bathroom. The doors can also be a little harder to open, requiring more strength to slide that a child just may not have. Most balcony rooms also have a higher lock located towards the top of the door that would make it extremely difficult for a child to reach. When my children were younger, I took them on several cruises with balconies and never had any issues or any fears for them. Balconies are pretty safe overall, but there is always that risk, and you'll have to decide if you're comfortable with that or not. If you really want to cruise in style, consider splurging on a suite. Cruise ship suites are typically a lot bigger than standard cabins. They have better locations and come with a long list of extra perks that you won't get with a regular cabin. These perks of staying in a suite start from the moment that you arrive at the port. Typically, you'll find a special check-in area for suite guests at the port terminal. This will help you avoid the long lines that you sometimes encounter for regular cabin check-ins. Sometimes there's even a private lounge area for suite guests with drinks and snacks. And as a suite guest, you'll be among the first passengers to board your ship. That means you'll be able to start your vacation even earlier than almost anybody else on your cruise. Cruise ship suites aren't just bigger than regular cabins, they're also better located. On many ships, you'll find some of the biggest suites at the front or back of the vessel, two places that offer the most stunning views. You'll also find suites along the sides near the middle. This area is the most stable in rough seas, so if you're prone to seasickness, this is where you want to be. You can expect all sorts of upgrades to your room experience when staying in a cruise ship suite, from higher-end thread counts to upgraded toiletries. On Royal Caribbean ships, for instance, Royal Suite guests get upgraded bottles of shampoo, conditioner, and lotions in the bathrooms, along with Mr. Coffee and tea services and even bathrobes for use during the voyage. Top suites on Viking ships have mini bars stocked with complimentary drinks, including hard liquors. Celebrity cruise suites come with a stock mini bar also, plus 2 bottles of liquor of the passenger's choice. Some suites also come with access to a private concierge. These are people whose whole job is to take away the little stressors that you might experience on vacation and pamper you at the highest level. If you're lucky enough to get a suite with a butler, they can also do everything from unpacking your suitcase to serving you private meals on your balcony. This same butler or concierge can also book you into the ship's top restaurants. They can also escort you to private seating areas for guests in the ship's theater, which is another perk of being a suite guest. The suite experience at Princess Cruises includes a free dinner on embarkation day at one of the ship's specialty restaurants. Passengers staying in the Royal Caribbean's top star class suites get complimentary dining at specialty restaurants throughout the cruise, as well as included gratuities and complimentary deluxe beverage packages. A suite on a cruise ship can cost a lot more than a regular cabin, but the pricing differential isn't as high as it looks once you factor in all the perks you get with the suite. Now, here's some other advice when choosing the right cruise cabin. You can put in all this work and find the perfect location on the ship, and when booking it, choose the option called Guaranteed Room. This does not mean that the room you want is guaranteed. This only guarantees you that type of room, but not the location. The cruise line gets to choose the location. Sometimes this option can be a significant savings, and if you don't care where you're located on the ship, this might be an appealing option. However, if you are not saving a significant amount, or you're just wanting a certain area on the ship, then by choosing this option, you're taking a chance of being put in a location no one else wants. This could mean that you end up in a room close to a noisy location or a room with a horrible view. Just keep this in mind when choosing the guaranteed room category. There are many factors to consider when choosing the right cruise cabin. This could look easy on the surface, but easily become overwhelming. This is something a good travel advisor, also known as a travel agent, can help you with. Many are experts with cruise lines and know how to get you the best value for your money. Did you know that when purchasing an alcoholic beverage package, you have to purchase it for every person in the stateroom? However, there can be a workaround. If you have 2 connecting rooms for you and your family, instead of the kids in one and the adults in the other, split the adults up, and now you only have to purchase one because the kids can't have an alcoholic package. This is something your travel advisor will know and will suggest these type of options. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next adventure.